So, would you consider yourself emotionless because you don't hold any emotional attachments or anything like that?
You see, emotion by definition is acquired because without that you don't feel alive. Nobody can feel alive. But the point is whether you're letting emotions control you or you're controlling the emotions is where the being smart is about. I don't ever let emotions control me.
So,
because my first question when I am feeling that will be, why am I feeling emotional about it? So then I get into the roots of that. Once I get into the roots, there's no way it can affect you. For example, if there's a snake can bite you and you can die. Now I would rather think, what does the poison of a snake contain? In terms of that, what is the speed at which it can travel? Whether it can hear or it can see properly. So my options are either I walk around it or I jump over it or I walk the other way or I kill it. All four I will do without any emotion. I will not feel fear. I will not feel anger towards the snake. Yeah.
You mentioned before you're an voracious reader. So was there ever a time where you didn't touch books, or were you always you were always reading books, or
No, I mean, I probably stopped reading books in the last 15 years, I would think. Is that your question? When I stopped reading?
Oh yeah, the question was did you adapt to the reading, to your reading, or did you just do it from when you gained a conscious age and then you just kept on reading?
No, I was started reading from my 5th standard, I think. By almost 9th or 10th, I finished the entire lot of James Hadley Chase. When I go into serious reading, maybe The Godfather I read at intermediate first year. Serious reading I started right from my engineering first year, into philosophies and things, yeah.
All right. So, in your opinion, which book? So when you were younger, did you so before the 5th standard, did you just dislike reading, or did you just feel?
No, I was always a reader. I just used to, even as a kid, yeah.
So, in your opinion, who is the most insipid author?
Insipid?
Yeah.
I wouldn't read an insipid author. If it doesn't interest me in the first 2 pages, why would I read it?
Okay, so but let's say that someone recommended you this author and you have no idea anything about him, and you want to continue reading that book because you want to know if there are more contents.
I mean, I make up my mind in it and what I'm feeling when I'm reading it. Yeah.
So before you mentioned that you didn't like children, but you have a child of your own. So.
Yeah, the same thing. So now that you liking someone as a person or because of a biological bond, there's a difference. I like her as a person, but she as a person doesn't, spending time and just on the bondage, it doesn't happen. Because probably in the last 5 years, I just exchanged a couple of texts once in 6 months. And she was here about 45 days recently, and I met her for 10 minutes. Yeah. So because there's no common topic, I don't have a problem. And most of the time, I prefer to spend in the company of highly interesting, extreme people because I gain something from it and I take a huge pleasure from that. So any normal people bore me to death.
Are you a sadist?
No. Because see, the point is, what is sadist by definition is you're deliberately creating pain for your pleasure. So I don't know if you're asking in that context, if somebody is being pained because of me, I think it is their problem. So to give importance to anyone else, unless they are bringing some happiness into your life or increasing your pleasure, that relationship is stupid to have, to maintain and to sustain. Yeah.
So we're on the topic of relationships. Most of your relationships, would you consider them because of a bond with them, or of a bond, or because of personality?
Bond, absolutely zero. If I have a biological bond like a relative or a father, mother or children, that absolutely doesn't work for them. They have to simulate me, they have to provoke me, they have to make an interesting conversation, something I can learn from, or something I want to contribute depending on what I feel about that person's ability. I am talking to you now because of your personality, not because you're a kid, you know. If you are 40 or 14 or 8, it doesn't make a difference to me. Because I've seen children who are highly intelligent and adults who are highly stupid. So there's no correlation there. Yeah.
So let's talk about your movies. What was the most entertaining movie for you?
See, for me, I mean, this is difficult for a layman to understand. A film is nothing but a series of decisions you take over a long period of time. Okay, so for me, a film is never a film. There's some idea comes and it grows, and again I change it, I take a shot. So a compilation of that in a certain way, which takes over a period of time, the movie will be very different in my mind, because when I conceived it and I put it together, there cannot be something similar in that. So I will always like a shot here, a dialogue there, a scene here. I can't see a film in totality, because at the time I conceived and by the time it released, my mind won't be the same. This is also the reason why I myself can't see that I made a bad film. Yeah, because it's been structured at random places and random thoughts. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, what made you want to make films in the first place?
I think because the film is eventually a medium. It is not like I can talk to you, or I can write a book, or I can write an article, or I can tweet, or I can make a film. All of them are communicating something I'm feeling at that time. And cinema is the best because it uses so many fine arts, like the photography to music to dialogue to acting. All of them are amalgamating into a certain coherent vision that is happening through my channel. The kind of music I like is the kind of photography I like is the kind of characters I want to capture are what interests me. But I am not a primary artist. I'm using primary arts to amalgamate them to create an emotional impact on the audience. Yeah. So it is my desire to tell a story, to tell something interesting to somebody, to see his expression, his or her expression on what I communicated. I think that is a primary thing of being a filmmaker. Then this is just a medium to communicate that, yeah.
So would you say the advance of technology has made it easier for you to write scripts?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I think every technology will have an impact on whatever anyone does in their life.